Hello, everybody. So this happens over and over and over again. I don't know how many people in the HIMS community are new to investing, but this is, the classic noise that you have surrounding growth stocks, the classic, FUD, as they say, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the classic news that makes the headlines and that is just copied by hundreds of news articles targeted at creating fear towards retail. And of course, these two big things are lawsuits, that's number one, and then CEO insider selling or insider selling in general, that's number two. These two things create clicks, create headlines, create red. And this is just, of course, this is happening to HIMS. HIMS has had all sorts of negative news all the time. This is one of the most volatile stock, but it's been on its way to 100 for a little while now, and the stock is an outstanding performance, even at $47. Let's talk about the pseudo news of the day that the internet is being upset about. And you even have big accounts now who are just talking about this fear, talking, the CEO dumped shares, most insider dump in history. We'll see. It's not that many shares anyways. Nothing that he's not going to be replenished with stock grants. He's a CEO. He gets stock all the time. That's part of his compensation. Anyways, so what did he do? He sold 660,000 shares at $50 a share, and he still has 2.2 million shares left. And this is what Wall Street historically calls an informative sell. This is when all of the AI articles get written. This is informative. Oh, he's selling because he thinks the stock is going down. And of course, if you outsource your thinking from first principles to just like standard Wall Street vernacular, you start acting like the standard Wall Street, like, I want earnings. I love earnings. EBITDA is crap. Depreciation is a real expense. Yeah, depreciation is real. Absolutely a real expense. I want my company to pay taxes. Like thinking like the 20th century Wall Street is not going to work for a 21st century business. And sure, it's better if it doesn't sell from a headlines standpoint, like from the headlines, from the standpoint of headlines, yeah, it'd be better if it doesn't sell. But this is short-term volatility. As long as you don't do options, as long as you don't do margin, as long as you buy this stock and you've committed to owning it for the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to be just fine. I mean, that's no financial advice, of course, but if you can't stomach the little ups and downs, this is one of the most popular retail stocks now. So, of course, any sort of headline is going to be, worthy, is going to be meat for any company that makes money on clicks or for really anybody who thrives and makes money on engagement, on an engagement and creating fear. Frankly, when I do these videos, frankly, I should use red. I should put them in red, and I should have like a screaming face, right? And I should write things like "the end." I would get 10 times more views. I guarantee you that. So, anyways, I don't want to get into the reason why he sold. I have no idea why he sold. I'm not this is not a tabloid. This is not what is it? This is not like Family Magazine or whatever they're called. I don't know, but I just know a few things. I think Andrew, from what I understand, he's a family man. I know he has kids, and he's a newly wealthy family man. So he probably has a family office. I know he's got causes. He probably has some sort of a charity, and so that's why you would need $30 million. To fund that. There's a lot of reasons why people may need to take some money off the table. I am sure Andrew is keenly aware of the cost of doing that, right? If Bill Gates had not sold, if Bill Gates did not follow the ill advice of Warren Buffett, Bill Gates would be just about a trillionaire right now. But no, Bill Gates sold, and so when you're an operator of a business, you are probably advised with a lot of classic Wall Street. Yeah, Andrew, it might be a good idea for you to create a family office. Why don't you sell XYZ shares? And anyways, it's just what it is. So he's the founder. He knew the stock when it was $3. You gotta realize that when you've held through thick and thin, when you've held stocks when it was $3, the temptation must be really, really high to sell at 50. And since, like I said, Andrew is a family man. He's married. He's probably have a lot of people in his life, a lot of pressures that are like, hey, okay, we should take some off the table. We should secure the family. We should secure that other side of us, right? And this is what is it? Martin Shkreli in a very condescending way in a podcast, he said, for some of these guys, $3 million is a lot of money. In a very condescending way, he was saying that. Well, this kind of tells you the viewpoint on the inside, which is, you should make sure you secure your family, and so. With that $30+ million sale, he definitely did that, because that was a much more substantial sale than any of the other sale that he had done prior. But to me, this is absolutely not the end of the world. Think about a headline that would read like this: he sells from 2.8 million to 2.2 million shares. Andrew drops ownership in HIMS by 23%. Like this is literally an adjustment. Like this is he sold 23% of his HIMS shares back. Like this is taking some money off the table. How many people do that? Tons. I mean, I'm sure many of you who watch these HIMS videos, many of you have done that. Trimmed some of the top, trimmed 20% of the top. And so when a CEO does that, it's the end of the world. When we do that, it's not a problem. So I don't read anything into this. The whole Wall Street vernacular of this is an informative sell from a book that was written in the 70s or the 60s from people who just repeated and repeated. Like, to me, this is not informative. There's a lot of CEOs that sell. I've owned so many stocks where CEOs sell along the way, and I can tell you, this is always the headline. It's always the headline. This is noise. He gets paid in stock every so often and will replenish that very quickly. I am sure of it. He will gain his shares back, right? It's different for the investor. We have to buy them back. He will get them back. So anyways, so that's point number one as to why the stock is dropping. Point number two as to why the stock is dropping is I feel like the HIMS stock has dumped as if the Novo lawsuit had already happened. If you look, in 12 days, we're down 28%. 28% in 12 days. So that's yet another dump, and we know the volatility of this stock. I always say, Amazon made its way to the top, and it dropped something like 18 times more than 70%. HIMS might make its way to the top of healthcare, but how many 40-50% drawdown will the stock go through on its way? Will it be 18 times like Amazon? Will it be less? Will it be more? I don't know, but it's you just gotta be very comfortable with volatility on this stock, which I totally am. Sentiment is driving the stock short term. We're probably better off with the news, the Novo suit news right now. The stock maybe would take a final dump, or maybe if we actually got the news, the stock would go up because this is already priced in. Like, this is to tell you how much news there is around the stock. I mean, Novo did not do it. Novo did not name it. Right now, that has not happened. So people worry about something that has not happened, and I think this is beginning to be priced in. And even if this were to happen, how long do you think this is gonna take? 3 years? 5 years, 7 years. I was listening to the CESL conference call yesterday, and an analyst asked, can you tell us the status of your lawsuit with Shopify? And the CEO literally said what I'm just saying now is, there's no need to ask us on the conference call about this every call. This is going to take years. So the speed of law is perhaps the only field that is slower than the speed of traditional healthcare. The speed of traditional healthcare is already so slow that, the time they find cancer, it's often too late, because the speed of traditional healthcare is so slow. Try to get an appointment with like a dermatologist because you have a little hair loss. Try to see how many months you have to wait, right? Try to get your moles checked out to see if you have cancer. Try to see how long it takes you to see a specialist, right? Healthcare moves so slow. The speed of law. How long do you think this is going to take? 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, right? That would be a headline before it would hit the books, right? That would be a headline before it would hit the books. A little bit like depreciation, right? Depreciation doesn't hit the books. So that's point number one. Point number two, of course, is HIMSS a GLP-1 stock? Is this a GLP-1 company? And this will be the conclusion of my video. Think about that. This stock is trading, as far as the Novo suit is concerned, or rumor of a suit, this stock is trading as if this was a full branded GLP-1 company. Well, let's go through the numbers and let's assume the 2025 numbers. I'm not going to use the 15% estimate of 24. I'm going to use the forward number, the guidance. We got the guidance, so we can calculate it. They guided 2.35 billion, the midpoint of the guidance, in sales in 2025, and they guided that the revenue for that will be 725 million weight loss. So 31% of the sales of this business in 2025. We're going to have 2 more quarters to go, so that includes the growth, including the growth expectations for weight loss category. That's going to be 31%, so less than a third of the business. So more than 2/3 of HIMSS is not related to weight loss. And by the way, we have high growth categories at HIMSS. Right now, the big one, and this is big on both sides, but the women's sides especially, is SSRI and anxiety, happy pills, like the SSRIs and SNRIs, these anxiety pills, they are kind of a blockbuster drug, very popular. HIMSS is selling a lot of those, making a lot of money on those. People are being very happy with those, and then of course, and that's the blockbuster of really. And I don't really know when these started becoming a thing, but they're definitely extremely popular, and a lot of people are trying to get cheaper access to these anxiety medication, and HIMSS is fulfilling that need. And whether you think it's a good thing or not, that's another debate. You always have people who are going to say, oh, weight loss pills are bad. People are going to say, oh, pills to deal with your stress are bad, and people who are going to say, oh, pills to deal with ED are bad. People are going to say that, but the truth is ED drugs, which is still a huge category for HIMSS, that has been a blockbuster drug since the 1990s. They've literally made it into popular culture, and this is a major part of the business of HIMSS as well. So weight loss is the fastest growing category, but it's not, it's less than a third of the business. Point number one. And then point number two, and that's the key term, HIMSS groups everything into weight loss. But weight loss and GLP-1 are two different things. 2 calls ago, you may remember Yemi, 2 calls ago, he said that oral pills, and so those oral pills, they're typically based on metformin. It's typically a metformin and bupropion mix and like a vitamin or whatever. It's a pill. Oral pills were at least 100 million of the business 2 earnings calls ago. So what are oral pills going to be for full year 2025? And we won't know unless they respond to the call. They answer on the call and it's asked on the call. But oral pills might be 200 million in 2025. So if oral pills is 200 million in 2025, we got to subtract that from the weight loss category, because that's not a GLP-1. And then we have generic liraglutide. So how much is generic liraglutide going to be in 2025? I have no idea of that. I don't really know. But let's assume that in Q3 and Q4 they do really well on the liraglutide. Let's assume that. What does that mean, liraglutide? Is it 100 million? So let's remove another 100 million. So 725 million minus 200 million minus 100 million. That leaves me with only 17 to 18% of the total revenue, of the total sales being protected GLP-1s like semaglutide. So the threat of that lawsuit would only impact 17 to 18% of the half forward revenue. We still have 2 more quarters to go of the forward estimates. Only 17 to 18% of the forward estimates, and you have a stock who would likely trade 20% down on a news like this for something that only impacts 17 to 18% of a business, and that has traded 25% down ever since the call. So and by the way, I call them protected GLP-1s here, because that the whole debate of compounding is the matter. It's like, because there is a carve out in the law where you can compound for legitimate reasons. And I happen to believe that if there was a suit, HIMSS would be able to show that they did the compounding for legitimate reasons, i.e. something more than just a B12 deficiency. So to me, this is noise. I'm not worried about this at all. Like, of course, if you have short-term options, of course, if you went all in on margin, that's more worrying, but this is an investor's stock. To me, this is not a trader's stock. Or if it is, then you win some and you lose some. If you see HIMSS as a trade, if you see HIMSS as an investment, which has been the theme of this channel, as a reminder, I started covering HIMSS at $6. Is when I started covering it. So we're still way up. We're still way up. Anyways. So this was not financial advice, not investment advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.